I think we're calling it Run, Run, Run.
Yes.
I think so.
I was just checking.
But like that's how I write.
Yeah.
Is I try to grab like the emotion of the song and the feeling of what's supposed to be going, but also lyrically what's happening and seeing if we can put that into like a storytelling, but with the instrument.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, here's chords that work with the or notes that work with the chords.
That's what's so good about
got to be more than that.
Pixie song.
Yeah.
Is like we were just talking about that last night.
We are live, boys, so we can actually keep talking about the things that we talk about as we talk.
I figured we were gonna be already live.
I know. Well, anyways,
welcome, Jeremiah.
Welcome.
It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
It's wild,
my brother.
It's wild that we're saying welcome to have you because you're like in the band.
Yeah, you
right.
In so many ways, you are the band.
Yes,
absolutely. When it comes to instrumental melody and all that, you are covering all of it pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
But welcome to the podcast, guys. Yeah. This is episode 2.
And episode 2.
Yeah, I know you're
the first guest.
Yeah,
you're
first guest.
You're the first guest
sort of.
/ like
permanent
in my
guest.
In my opinion, you're like
you want to show up. You're allowed to come anytime.
But yeah. For those of you who don't know, Jeremiah has like 20 kids, so like life is
not
just
20
yet. Look at his face.
There's a lot of work to be done.
I've been meaning to ask. Are you sticking with just the 3?
For the time being.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Hey,
well,
if you know,
clock's ticking.
If you know, we are blessed to free up some time and have greater finances, then
right now you don't have time.
Yeah.
Then maybe I could afford more kids. But,
especially with 3 boys, it's crazy.
Love having kids.
But we've been
have more kids.
We've been dying to have him on here. Well, I mean, obviously, we've been talking about doing this for a hot minute. For all of you who has followed our dumb band vlogs, and
or the few of us that know us personally,
we've been talking about doing this and being able to have like the core group here. Yeah. This is how I would like it to be like forever, like as we continue just making content. Yeah, because a lot of it too is like a lot of stuff that we talk today. We just kind of we talk about normally,
right?
Like last night we were tracking. We're trying to finish up the album, guys. I know we keep saying that like it's gonna be done, but we're trying to finish it up, and we were finishing up some parts, and last night we were just talking about some stuff that I actually want to touch on today. A big part of like what we want to focus on is this music and our belief system, Jesus, essentially, which is, you know, we're not experts in many things. I would say, you know, there's a few things that we've
dedicated for yourself.
Just kidding. There's a few things that we've dedicated our lives to, I'd say, and that there's some stuff that you know, we can chat about. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was like the part of your brain that does guitar. For those of you who don't know, Jeremiah is a business owner.
That's true. That is true.
That is true.
Yes. Pink's Windows. If you
located in Austin, surrounding areas.
Yeah. If you're in the Round Rock area,
northern Austin generally,
ask for some. Ask for him to wash your windows.
Get stuff cleaned up for you.
He'll do all your car windows.
House windows.
House businesses.
There we go. Yeah. But I wanted to bring that up because like the part of you because I've seen you work in the studio. The way you work on a guitar part is like there is like this obsessive thing. And I see it in like, you know, when we work on stuff, all of us, there's like this like thing. Creatively, do you feel that for you and like, you know, I'm sure most musicians out there have day jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, do you think that transfers over to the business side of things? Or does it feed it? Does it block it? I think that also I have a lot of friends that are wanting to do music and have their own business. And they're like, you know, I'll keep a really crappy job and then just pour everything else into the music, you know? But I needed something low pain and crappy that I can let go once it takes off. And, you know, like that mentality. Mm-hmm. So I just want to get a take from you because you're kind of going big on both ends. Like you really put your heart into all of like your business and what you do. And also the art. You really dedicate your whole, I can see it. Right? So what is a word of maybe some experience?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's interesting because, you know, music to me, so I'm typically a very like more intellectually driven person. And I see art in general as being more expressive, more emotional. You've got people that are technically phenomenal, impressive, but they're not the most impactful when it comes to anything in the art world, music, movies, whatever you want to apply that to. And the people that are typically the most successful are the people that are able to connect story and emotion and then communicate that through art.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's actually a really refreshing switch. I get to switch modes into a way of thinking that I don't usually tap into.
Gotcha.
When I go into music. I'm able to shut off my thinking and not think too much.
Yeah.
And go more into feeling. What am I feeling in this moment? What am I feeling with this song? What am I feeling from these lyrics? And how can I emote and storytell through the guitar?
Yeah.
And you're using two different parts of your brain.
Completely different parts.
And
it's really refreshing.
I've always described you as a cerebral leaning.
That's very true.
But you need the creative because it's just how you're.
It gives me a break because I operate in the other side, in that logic side. So like the majority of my life is logic side, which is great and I like it. But
yeah, I mean, for your business, for like so many things, the way you run your life structure, there's a lot.
And over here, I can't help but not think logically.
For those of you who don't know, they're brothers. Growing up, how did like comparatively did you guys do in school compared to each other?
Jeremiah, I talk about this all the time. He would go into class, walk out of class, and retain all things he got in class.
That's true.
Never study.
That's so annoying.
And ace every test. And I would work my butt off to try to prepare for tests, and I'd walk out with A- on a good day. So it was more of it's my learning style.
I think you have.
I'm hands on. Yeah. I have to do all of it.
I will say though, you're much more. I think have
it's called
a natural intuition.
I believe it's called kinesthetic learning, where you do.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, whereas like classroom learning,
he's audible.
Like, I'm really good with
audible
that.
learning.
Yeah, I'm very good at listening and grabbing hold of that information. I think that's one. I think that's one skill set. There's so many skill sets in like living life, and school only taps into certain ones.
Yeah,
and I think one of the big ones that that you have is you have a natural ability to connect with people. Which I think is actually in the long run way more valuable than just like cerebral learning. The people, because there's all kinds. You hear about it all the time. People that are like F's, D's, C students, and then they go on to be super successful when they get in the real world, because in the real world you need to navigate relationships very well and
they
build
both,
strong relationships.
Either like, and I understand that you can be born into like a side of it, but like they both need to be developed.
Yeah,
because I've seen that like my whole life. Like there's
Absolutely.
people that are great at like certain things and they don't develop it, and they just lean on. Like for example, I'm painfully social. I like growing up Latino and like all that. Like the expectations of socializing are there. So when I moved here, immediately social, people oriented, go, and like connecting, getting people to like me. I like them. We hang out. That part was really easy. What was hard for me was learning like the system and like structure. Order, working like my first 9 to 5. I was like, what do you mean I have to be here? What do you mean I have to tell you when I'm going to the restroom? Right. And so like, which is why now I'm self-employed. but like, I think like I had to develop like structure behind it, because like you may be naturally inclined. Like this translates well to music. There are people that are naturally inclined to like you give them any instrument, they can play it.
Right. They just pick it up.
But like you put them in a studio setting, once they're on a click, it's not as structured.
You can't track them.
You can't track them. They can't. They don't know how to follow an MD. They don't learn the number system. Which
you've got to grab a little bit of that logic, a little bit of that system, to be able to then use the creativity that comes in music and actually have it in a way that can be played along with and produced and developed.
Well, back to the school thing for a minute. I for sure think that the American public school system is broken. That, beyond just...
Are you sure?
beyond just, like, pushing ideologies and things that aren't factual. That is clearly being done right now. Beyond that, there's so many, and I'm one that's a great example.
Well, it's designed for something, and it does.
It's designed for someone like you, who can thrive in a system that's designed for the masses.
We'll go down the historical rabbit hole.
When there are some that
I didn't grow up here, so for me, like the American educational system is new.
There's so many, and I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like learning disabled even.
Are you sure?
And I mean, I was never tested.
Without getting into the
that was a joke, by the way. I actually love Micah. I feel that we have like I
don't think you needed to say that.
I was just looking through the last session we did, and I was like, I feel that I bullied Micah, but like I wasn't bullying him, dude.
It's okay. Everyone's bullied me my entire life. I'm just used to it. It's how people speak to me. It's
I just want to like.
It's just, I take it as a loving, endearing thing.
I don't.
It's great.
I made sure he was used to that.
I just wish y'all knew how much Micah bullies me. So there's
okay. Now I do because I learned it from you.
He just does it off camera. Anyways, whatever.
I mean, if you want to dig into the history of it, I mean, the education system in America seems like, if you pull the historical thread, seems like it was designed to create better workers for factories specifically, and then obviously for businesses, because they basically want you to absorb information, regurgitate it, show up on time, leave on time,
they needed to create
work
machines
off the clock by doing homework. Right, you work off the clock, so it's training you to be a good
Fascinating.
employee.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about it that if you really dig into it, it's I don't know that all of it's fully substantiated, but there's some stuff that you can track and you kind of look at it and you're like, yeah, I think they don't really necessarily want to teach you to think.
Sure.
I think that there are really good teachers in the system that do want to teach you to think and want you to learn how to use your own faculties to reason.
But what you're
I don't
saying,
know
it's
that that's
mostly
the system.
It's mostly behavior modification with memorization as a primary.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the design. I don't think that that's everyone involved in the system. I don't think it's some like big conspiracy.
Yeah.
But I do think it's to the point that you're saying. It's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily teach you to thrive in some of the things that really like understanding money and understanding how money works.
Just to be clear, he's saying
relationships.
What he's saying is we should end all schools
because
that would solve a lot of things. That would solve the non-thinking and according to some research that came out recently in a prestigious podcast, it could also end school shootings. We can clip that.
If there's
in
no
here.
schools, then
There you go.
But
we'll clip that in.
No, I think
gotta show you that clip. It's so
I think
funny.
at the same time,
So
I think at the same time, what modern education has been able to do though too is also build some of the most powerhouse economies in world history.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Sure.
But
yeah, I mean, I don't think that the intent from the beginning of creating the school system was like evil in any regard, but it is catered to a type of learning.
Sure.
Absolutely.
That now has turned into where they're diagnosing kids that just are like wired a different way with ADD or ADHD, and now they're taking meds, and it's just like this thing that just snowballs on itself.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if we didn't give them meds, we'd have like way more Elon Musks.
Right.
Let autism roam free,
if you take it and
Just
lean
let
into it,
Just let it
yeah.
go.
Just because they're not like, falling in line with everyone else and behaving the same way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you do instead with kids that are ADHD, give them more things to do.
Yeah.
Give them a purpose. Give them something where they can really drive for something that they love, and they will excel like crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think we are squashing so much creativity, intelligence, and just freedom.
And I do think there are schools that are trying to change that, and they're dabbling with some different ways of teaching.
Yeah.
But
Well, as dads, the two of you, like honestly, like the education system is going to change so much, and you guys are likely to have creative kids, probably, in some sense.
Although my
sure.
son reminds me so much of how Jeremiah used to be when he was a kid.
firstborns. I mean, it's honestly, it's a very firstborn tendency.
But like my point is like if you guys as like thinking of like how you want your kids to like flourish with their creative gifts, really, when it comes to music, or what? Do you have like a? I know that I don't know. I'm not a dad, so I don't know. But like, do you have like a idea of like this is what I would like for them in order to develop? Like, let's say, like you never know, like the kind of musician that could happen if it's like taking
Well, yeah,
care.
I
you know what I'm saying?
I think one of the most important things is as a parent is to take responsibility for your child's education, and I don't mean like make sure they're doing well in school. I mean make sure that they're learning how to think. Make sure that they're
Wisdom over
they're growing in their
intelligence.
ability to reason. They're growing in their ability to put two and two together, and that they use those tools when they're in school and they grow knowledge and information. But I think a lot of parents can just check out and say, "Oh, well, the school system's kind of like doing that."
Gotcha.
But like having those intellectual conversations and
Gotcha.
challenging your children to think.
Like actually spending time with your kids.
Actually spending time.
Yeah.
and
Wild.
I think it's really important. And so
Get off your phone and actually
Wild.
spend time with them.
So going back to the music portion of everything, with all the songs that we've been currently like tracking and all, we've been recording for a while, guys.
Yeah.
And I feel that we've been writing a lot recently. How I actually haven't asked you guys, like, how do you actually, objectively speaking, how do you feel about the album and like the songs and like from the outside in? Because you guys have a lot of experience. You've done music outside of like this particular lineup, like production and worship and other senses. Like, how do you, looking outside in, if you can objectively, if that's possible, how do you feel about it? Like, what do you think is something to look forward to? Or, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I'll
I'm
let you go
curious.
ahead because I feel like I have a little bit of tunnel vision with this album, which happens a lot when you're like really in it, like seeing it from
y'all
the
are definitely in
writing.
the more like kind of fundamental core kind of
Yeah.
on a lot of the tracks, I
Yeah.
would say. And I'm kind of coming in with some, I'll throw some ideas at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's funny. He does that, but then he makes like the song good.
Yeah. There's a couple songs I was like, oh, I almost was ready to trash that,
Yeah,
and all of a
same.
sudden it's like, okay,
Same.
this is a great song.
It
now.
just
What-
you just need.
what did you just do?
Yeah, we're such guitar like.
well, it's fun.
driven.
It's fun to. It's
And then I'm
fun
like,
when
I have
you-
to retrack my bass part
Yeah.
completely because
It's
it's so
fun
good.
when it's fun when you're really a fan of the other people you get to collaborate with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
In that writing process, it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
I don't know if you could do it if you're not a fan of people you're working with.
It brings a lot of
Genuinely.
inspiration.
Yeah.
When it's not in a competitive, like music. I've been in music situations where it feels competitive, and I've been in music situations where it feels collaborative, and those two are not the same thing.
Interesting.
And at least to me.
What changes the environment? What makes that like? What makes it collaborative and what makes it like toxic? Like, what's the difference?
I think sometimes it's your own insecurity. I think
Interesting.
oftentimes it's where it's rooted.
For sure.
So when
I
you're
mean-
really comfortable with the people you're around,
Yeah.
and
Well-
they help make you comfortable.
Sure.
One thing that I tell people that are trying to find space to collaborate and write and be creative with other people, the number one thing I tell them is what you are writing and what you are doing is not your identity.
Right. Exactly.
When you assign
I've
yourself,
heard you say that for years.
when you assign
years.
yourself to
When your art is your identity,
identifying-
that's a problem.
Yeah, when you're identifying with the
You're not
thing
free
that
in
you're
your art
doing,
anymore.
then you are going to be devastated when someone says, "Oh, I don't really like that,"
Yeah.
or asking you to shift one little thing. You're like, they don't like me, and then
Right.
suicide or whatever. You know,
That's whoa. That's a little. That's rough.
I mean, some people,
Yeah. No.
go
true.
there.
Yeah, because it feels like rejection.
Yeah,
You know, it
exactly.
feels like when you've tied yourself to it, then it feels
And
like
that's-
that you're being rejected.
and that's
instead
not
of the
just
idea.
music.
I will
I think that
Yes.
well, I don't
That's what
think
I
I
was gonna
know
say.
that
I was
goes with
gonna say.
anything in life.
Yeah.
When
Absolutely.
you attach yourself to anything outside of you and your, as a Christian, your identity in Christ and your
Yeah.
relationship with God, then
Yeah.
you are
You're gonna crumble.
You're gonna
Yeah. There's
you
no.
can't.
The amount of times I've been in the studio and like this is funny because we were working. I think it was at Orb Studios in Austin. We love that studio.
Love
really
that
cool.
studio.
I
I
can't
wanna
wait
go
to be back. But like we were working on something, and I remember Mike and I were talking, and we had the sound engineer there, and Mike and I outside of the band, we're like, as you're talking about this, like we were friends outside, so that helps a
right.
lot.
That
So
helps.
when we come in and I'm doing something or Mike is doing something, and there's like, I don't like that. It's not like, and I remember the sound engineer looked at us and I was like, and I had to tell him like, no,
fine.
we talk like this.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But it's
Like,
like
you should talk like that to us.
you should talk like that to us because I want to know, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I remember being like, hey, I don't like that. Or you told me,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
It makes
I
you
don't like that.
better.
I can't understand what you're saying. I was like, what do you mean? This is what I'm saying. And then I would hear about you like, you know what, he's right.
Yeah.
But like I think part of it is you
Yeah.
need to be friends outside of the context
Having
of
that
art.
Yeah, having that security of like, it doesn't feel like you're having to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that, you know, the acceptance and success of what you're doing is, you know, based on the first idea you put out there.
Yeah.
Allows you to explore greater and greater ideas and make it better, I think.
But also so many people and in so many cases, people are trying to create with people that they're not friends with.
Oof.
And
Yeah.
Or play shows.
yeah, I mean,
That's
and that's
another
kind
thing.
of the nature of the beast sometimes. It's
Yeah.
just going to be what it is.
Yeah.
And I think when all parties come to that place of like open hand,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to put this out. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. And we can collaborate on it
Yeah.
and make it better. Then that is what creates friendships within the creative process.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what creates bonds. That's what creates good music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's like when you're in that situation, you have to come with that mindset of like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? Whatever I bring, it's trash. We'll sometimes even
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll record a little bass idea and send it over to Nate and be like, garbage trash bass riff.
It's literally how I title all my stuff that I sent to Micah. Or like anytime I share something, I'm like garbage trash melody. Hope you like
I
it.
only play stuff that I know is gold.
And see, that's the
We've
difference
noticed, we've
between him.
noticed.
That's the
I'm
difference
totally
between him and
Totally
us.
kidding.
The difference
Totally.
between a
It's so
master
funny.
and someone
No,
that's
I
trying.
know, dude.
I literally, I was working on some guitar stuff in the studio with our producer and
Shout out Jeremy. We're
Yeah.
gonna have him
Mhm.
here at some point. He's brilliant.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
fun to work
Pew,
with.
pew, pew.
But we're going back and forth, and I was saying, you know, it's so nice to have this comfort zone of feeling
Yeah.
like I can noodle around and I can play a bunch of wrong notes or
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't really land.
Yeah.
And there's not this like pressure of feeling like, oh, I'm embarrassed
Sure.
or, you know, I'm going to be rejected or this is
Right.
such a bad idea,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Right.
you can stumble into like, okay, that's not exactly where I was trying to go with it, but then it allows you to find it.
Or find something else.
Or find something better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Do you think on that like point kind of that you're speaking on, when it comes to the dynamic of like church music, worship music, where people practice at home, show up on Sunday and learn the songs and get there and play them. It's hard because this is a volunteer,
Mhm.
right? They're all volunteers.
Yeah.
How do you communicate? Like, I want to know what because we've talked about this a lot, Mike.
Okay.
How do you communicate with a volunteer on like your worship team?
Well, he's actually had to do this.
And I
have
know that's
had
why I
to
want
do
to ask him. Like, he has so much experience, and he worked at the church we go to.
Yeah.
So like when you have a volunteer that like genuinely thinks they learned the part,
Mhm.
or maybe didn't and is saying he did, and like they have 9-to-5 jobs. So there's this
Right.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to our worship musicians, how do you communicate in a way that's like because Christianese is huge and Christian culture has like
Yeah.
weight there, but how do you communicate professionally as a musician with this?
I think, I mean, being a musician helps, right? First and foremost, because you can meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
And you can help them develop. So I actually have worked with plenty of guitar players in the church and in worship. I mean, from being, kids to like young adults and even, I've had guys that are in their 50s and so on my team serving and working with them to, and it's a process. It can't be a demand,
Yeah.
right?
You
Although
show up with grace.
but you don't. Yeah, you bring grace first and foremost. And I think you should do this with everything in life, right?
Yeah.
But especially that much more with anyone that would be volunteering and giving of their time and effort. Is one, hopefully you're coming from a place where you already have some relationship and you've
Sure.
established a little bit.
So
of
that's
like
important.
Goodwill.
Talk a little bit about that, the relationship part, because I just think that like as far as a worship industry,
Yeah,
it can be very just like, oh, I just see you once a week,
Right.
learn the song, show up.
I
Like,
think think if you're leading in that scenario, like it's up to you to make sure it's not that you're seeing them once a week. I think that you need to so my perspective on leading in the church and leading anything in general, but especially in the church would be that when you're entrusted with someone else serving under you, that it is your responsibility to pour into their life.
yeah,
Not for the purpose of what you can get out of them, but for
Sure.
the purpose of you have a responsibility before God
Mhm.
to give of yourself
yeah,
it's, you know, in Philippians, it talks about that you are to put the needs of others above your own.
Yep.
Not expecting them to supply your needs, but rather that you, as doing so, can trust that God will supply all your needs, which is really tough.
It is.
In practice. It's really hard to do.
And also musicians are difficult.
That's
something that people don't talk about enough.
Because people are insecure and people, they have a way of how they like to do it. So yeah, first and foremost, it's got to start with that relationship. It's got to start with your intentions in the relationship to make sure that it's not about trying to get something out of them, but rather that you're wanting to pour into their life and on things that may not, like I helped tutor a kid in math.
Yeah. On your worship team? Or just
on one of my serve teams, yeah.
Oh wow!
And not because because he needed the help, and I could do it.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with
with real relationship.
Yeah, it was real relationship.
But see, it's so with that context. If he were to do something that, like, let's say he's serving on the worship team the next month, right, and he doesn't learn the parts right. You coming to him being like, hey, like, we need to. It feels better because you know him.
Well, and it's coming alongside more than it's confrontational, right?
Yes.
It's like, hey, you know, let's go back. Let's kind of dissect this part a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you're really close.
Yeah.
I see the work you put in.
Yeah.
You appreciate what effort they're giving.
Sure.
It's like, hey, I think if we did this and did this, we can tweak it and get it where you sound exactly like the guy that wrote. Because oftentimes too, if they're coming in and they're serving, they're giving their time and they're playing these songs, like they're listening to this and like, these are the types of people they look up to.
That's true.
You know, they're not trying to come in with any sort of disrespect most of the time. And usually if they're coming in and they're kind of got an attitude and they're just like, they either won't last or honestly, there's a deeper issue that's outside of the context of what's going on.
Yeah,
there's a home situation.
There's something going on.
There's a broken family situation. There's a breakup. They just lost their job. And it's oftentimes really smart if you notice that the attitude's wrong in the first place. You address the attitude before the part.
Yeah.
By digging into something like you seem a little off. Like, what's going on? Can I pray with you about anything? Or, you know, if you want to open up and talk about it, just let you know I'm here for that.
But I like that. You're not addressing you're going to the heart before the behavior.
Absolutely.
In a sense where it's like, hey, why, and then like the behavior kind of works itself out once you're able to address that.
More about them as a human being than about what they can do for you. Or what the performance needs to be.
Exactly.
And when the performance and what they need to be doing for you, even though it's a good thing.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with really nailing it, knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
And those are standards we should not compromise on.
Yeah.
But that's not the first. The first is that they are a human being that deals with stuff in life. Yeah. And you've got to come at them in a way that cares more about who they are and more than what they can do.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll through that they'll need a break. You're not going
absolutely.
Oh, I'm putting you on a break because you're not really doing it. No, you out of like the relationship. You say,
and it's not a break that pushes
I
them
understand
away.
that you've got all these things weighing on you.
It can be,
Don't let this weigh on you too. Like take some time. We can handle this.
Yeah,
come back when you're ready.
Right, absolutely.
And I'll be checking on you.
If this is too much, like that's okay. Like,
that's huge. I think that's huge, and that's why I wanted to hit on it because I think it needs to be reiterated, especially in the Christian music world, church worship environments, planning center, the green room. There's just so many moments.
I've had to have those conversations too, where it's like, hey, like I can guarantee, like it's literally like a 70-80% chance that when I put you on, you're going to decline the day before. and I've had to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But the approach to the conversation is not like, hey, dude, you're really messing up my life and my weekend with my family. It's more like, hey, dude, like I see that this is a pattern of behavior, and this is not going to be good for you in your life.
That's the thing that people don't realize. Sure. Like,
so how do I help you overcome that?
It's a life practice.
Something about serving. Anytime my whole life, anytime I've served. It sounds selfish in a sense, but like it's done more for me than anyone I've ever helped. And like my parents' ministry and what we did was the impact that we had was particularly in orphanages and children that have been abused in so many ways. And the stuff that I feel that the time that we gave to them and the way we helped them, I feel that it helped me more than anyone else.
It's one of the most life-giving things you can do.
And I don't think people speak about that enough within serving at church, where it's like, you have no idea. Like waking up at 5 a.m. to go and like do your sound check or whatever. Yeah, dude, but you have no idea what it's going to do to you, especially long term.
Jesus says something when he's meeting with the woman at the well, he
Yep.
says to the disciples, he said, I have food that you don't know of.
Yeah.
That it's to
Yep.
do the will of the Father. And
Yep.
there's something that when you act selflessly,
Yeah.
and it's hard because, I mean, my
We're
first
selfish.
reaction is like, yeah, it's everyone is
Yeah.
selfish. Everyone's first reaction is
Yeah.
like, man, this guy's really frustrating me. You know what I mean? He's a pain in my side right now.
Yeah, now my
But
wife's
when
angry
you-
at me
but
because I'm
when
not
you
home.
lay down your life and you seek for the purpose of what
Yes.
God wants to do in that
Yeah.
situation, the fullness of life and satisfaction that
Yes.
you get is it's like food for the soul.
It's different. It hits different because, and to this day, I call them Ebenezer moments, because of the Ebenezer, what happened in the Old Testament, how God reminded his people of what he had done in the past.
Right.
Right. So I like to have these moments in my life where like Ebenezer moments, whenever I'm feeling like frustrated at someone or something happened, I'm like, oh, remember what God did last? Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Remember what he did
Yes.
then? Okay, cool. Remember that bad situation? Then it turned into and I think I hit those and it helps so much.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can have that if you're not consistent in serving.
Right.
Genuinely, I don't see
Yeah.
it. I just don't see it. We need to be always
When
doing
you're always
something.
and I think that absolutely, like in the context of the church, but I think in life, like
Everything we
there's
do.
always opportunities in everyday life
Yeah.
to be able to. There's always things that God's put in your path
Yep,
that are opportunities for you to serve others around you.
I agree.
And when you take those opportunities, it boosts. Again, it's something supernatural. It's inexplicable. It's not
It's-
just feeling good that you did something
Yeah.
good. There's something beyond even that.
It's part of spirituality that people don't. The best way to genuinely look at it is this pattern of spirituality and the gift from it. You can see it across history, how Christians consistently tell the same story,
Mhm.
and it's one of the most affirming things about Christianity, where you see a similar pattern of experiences throughout history, and everyone's like, "Wow,
Mhm.
when I follow this particular set of rules or however you may want to look at it from the outside, this seems to happen." And you see it across the board in different countries, different cultures.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's fascinating.
yeah.
On that, I want to ask a question because I think it's funny because we were talking about this. Do you think that how important is using a click as a musician for a live setting?
Okay,
we
if-
just had a whole thing.
If you're not a click yourself, you should be on a click.
Because I know you guys
Period.
have played with a lot of people too, and never in my life have I've come across a few people that think they don't need a click. I think the click conversation is an interesting thing. For the click is a metronome, and like a lot of musicians have it in their ears. That way you can play on time.
It helps you lock in.
It helps you lock in.
chemistry wise.
But I just think that I don't hear enough conversation about it where like people don't actually. They're just flow. Recently in worship too, it's been a big
But you can
thing.
still flow with click.
That's
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what I'm
It's
saying.
totally
So,
doable.
anyways,
A click to me it gives a little bit of a security to lock in everybody, so that way everybody's
Yeah.
together.
yeah.
I think it's great. I love a click. It vanishes for me. It doesn't.
100%.
It's not something
to a
that
point
just
I don't
it
even
doesn't
hear it.
Yeah,
Once
it
you're
doesn't
in,
stand out of my
Especially if you have a
mind.
good enough drummer.
Absolutely.
I let it be a
Absolutely.
piece that kind of just gets ingrained,
Yeah.
and again, it helps me land on time with everybody else around me, and know that they're also going to be
Yeah.
landing on time.
I just think that
Because when stuff's just not synced up, it's hard to be enjoyable, to produce enjoyable music in a live context without.
I want to
being
just
synced.
speak to the worship musicians that like I've just had too many of these conversations lately, and I'd like to like speak about it where it's like a click doesn't stop flow; it actually makes it
No.
better, and that's what I think.
Yeah, 100%. And even if you want to change your tempo, just turn the click off or change the tempo of the click.
right,
You-
and then
the-
get back into sync with that,
And
let the drummer.
and I
drive
think that every I think the importance of flow, whether you are doing a jazz exploration or a worship set where you're just wanting to like let it flow as it goes, you also need someone in a mic talking to everybody, making sure everyone's on the same page. I think that is
in a flow context, yeah,
Unless
having an
you're-
MD on the mic helping, like just talking into the ears of all the musicians,
and
really helps sync everything up.
unless
So
you
you all go the
are a
right
band
direction.
that's been playing together for years and you know each other
Even
in and
still.
out. I've seen that before where there's like guys that are just so locked in with each other
Yeah.
that they know where they're going, what's going to be happening across the board.
Yeah.
Even still, being able to have that verbal communication just
Yeah,
helps
for sure.
so
Yeah.
much.
So like, I just want to like nail in that like having a click and an MD, it's not gonna kill your flow. It's not gonna make the service less
No, it doesn't.
spiritual.
No, it doesn't.
I think
Like, it's not-
I think
I've been in
one
contexts
thing,
where you're using more click or less click, and in both scenarios, like the click doesn't harm. It's imperceivable to everyone else.
Yeah.
I think there are some musicians out there who are like stuck in their ways about like staying raw and just like natural and just like living in the moment. And I'm like, why would we? We have all of this technology before us that we can use
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
so brilliant, and you can still be that way with all of that technology.
You
And
can
you're
have-
just afraid to move
Yeah.
into
You can
it.
have a
You're
ton
just
of dynamic, absolutely
Yeah.
dynamic in the music
living like a dinosaur.
without having to change tempo.
Well, also it's like that guy that told us we had this gig at
You can
Kickbutt.
still change the tempo.
That's true. You can still,
Right,
and
you
it's
can even
great.
still change the
We
tempo.
had back in the first formation of this band, we were called Royal Knaves, and no, it was St. Augustine.
It was St. Augustine.
And we were at a gig at Kickbutt Coffee, and there was a band playing before us. They were Austin band, and I don't even remember his name. They were out of California though. Actually, they were visiting, I think. But the drummer was explaining to us how he tunes his guitar to the drums.
No, the guitarist
The guitar.
said he tunes his guitar to the drums.
Yes, and I'd never heard that in my life. So I've never talked to you about this. I think I just want to hear what you think of
Okay,
that.
so-
what does that mean as a guitar player?
I think
How do you tune?
you need to.
How do you
tune-
tune your
I
guitar
think
to the
you need
drums?
I think you can. I mean, technically you can.
Okay.
However,
It's wrong.
who knows? Like, yeah, the inconsistency for where the vocals are going to land, the
Yeah.
intensity of what the vocal can bring in a live context. I think really having a standard for the guitars first. If you want to tune, like I've heard of guys tuning the drums to.
That I have.
That's
heard.
different.
Yeah, that is
I
different.
think,
But that's usually like
it's the
also
same
in
kind of concept, but
studio.
I think it's a much more like if you want to get that like precise on
Yeah.
the way the drum tones sound, then yeah, I think you can do it that way.
Yeah, he didn't have a tuner. I was looking at his pedal board, and he didn't have a tuner, and I was like, "Oh, which one's your tuner?" I was just asking. I was
Tuner's
genuinely just
so
like,
inexpensive.
and that's what he told me. And I think,
Hey,
that,
and look, I can't speak to
Sure.
because I haven't heard him. You know,
Sure.
maybe it's like really like
No,
Oh,
it wasn't. It
oh,
was
we
terrible.
heard him.
It was so bad.
we heard him, and
Well,
unfortunately, I would
He
like
was not tuned to
that's
the
what I
drums.
would predict.
I would like to say
Okay, first because
he was
it's hard to
great.
get the drums first off tuned
Yeah.
well.
He wasn't tuned to himself.
And then that would be the other problem. That would be the other problem if you're trying to tune to the drums, that you're now ignoring whether you're tuned it to yourself. It's like
He's like,
it's like something
hit that Tom one.
It's like
Well,
something
he's
that breaks internal
tuning
logic
his
doesn't work.
high strings to that, and then hit the low tom.
Here's
and he's
my
tuning the
thing.
low strings to that.
how many drummers there
That doesn't
are
work.
some great drummers out there that are music minds.
Yeah.
But a drummer that can tune his drums is already kind of a rare thing.
Yeah, drummers that pay that much
Oh, or
attention.
tune it
That's
properly.
is a rare
that's
thing.
what I'm saying. Like that's already kind of rare.
Our drummer, what Dave's difference was,
Yeah.
he didn't tune it though to like notes necessarily, but he had them internally tuned to themselves, so the resonance was
Right.
pristine, and he would do
Wow.
it every show.
Yeah.
Shout out John.
Yeah.
No, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Amazing.
really, just that attention to detail.
We'll get him in here one day.
But
Yap, it'll be fun.
but I think that's a great way to tune your drums. But in terms of tuning your guitar, I think
Yeah.
it's got to at least be in tune to itself
Yeah, interesting.
at the very least.
Let's talk about some stuff that's going on in the music industry. So currently, you're aware of the band Sleep Token?
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yeah,
kind of like this
somewhat.
new. How would you describe them? New metal,
Oof, they're like new metal.
Like
They're
they're
like the new
experimental
metal.
for sure.
Yeah, experimental, kind of in the direction of like a poppy version of Deftones, maybe a
Ooh,
little
that's
bit.
actually a pretty good.
Um,
That's actually a pretty good.
except for maybe the vocalist.
do they play with like weird time signatures and stuff too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Almost moments that are almost genty.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting. One thing that I was looking at is they are currently in a wave of hate right now.
Oh really?
Yeah, as a band, like but
Is it because of their live performance?
no.
Oh.
The hate is coming from like the metal fandom, like
Because
metalheads,
they're too poppy.
because they're too poppy.
Interesting.
And I just think it's an interesting thing because
I think that's weird. Like art's art. Like enjoy it or don't. I mean,
Yeah.
that's actually that you heard it here, guys. That's probably the best way. Enjoy it or don't. The Grammys, enjoy it or don't.
there
there's-
are technical metrics when it comes to art.
There are
but-
guys that tune their guitar to the drums. Just say,
like I said, there's technical metrics to art, but they're minimal, and that's
Sure.
really the bedrock. And then everything else on top of that is really just creative expression. And
there is some art that is copy paste of something
Sure.
that is just I think we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
It's just regurgitating what
Yeah.
they heard was popular, 6 months ago,
Yeah.
and now we're just going to create the same thing just with my voice now, and there we go, and
So,
it's a top 10 hit.
The reason why I think it's interesting is when I was in middle school, Nickelback was at an all-time high with like popularity.
man.
yeah,
And they're
Good
kind of
times.
and they're kind of
Take it back, bro.
well, they're kind of getting the same kind of hate that Nickelback did. And I remember middle school being
That
like,
makes sense.
well, I remember middle school being like, you're learning about music. I remember being like, but they're good.
Yeah,
and
it
I
was
don't know.
good.
I never.
It's
Yeah.
because they have good writing. Like
Sure.
they're writing in a poppy way,
Yeah.
but with rock elements.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
that rubs people the wrong way
people get-
that are in that industry. They're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
I'm doing this,
pe-
gotta do this for the
people
art.
get-
Why are you just doing
in,
pop stuff?
in general, I think it's kind of an immature approach, but for the most part,
Yeah.
it does seem like that people get like ethics.
Yeah, it's weird.
They apply ethics to music, and it's
This is huge.
and it's
actually.
and it's weird.
Yes. I agree.
Like the way, the style, the poppiness or lack thereof.
Mhm.
Again, like if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, that's fine. You don't.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But I like slinging mud and a bunch of hate towards somebody just because it's not particularly something that you like. Like, go listen to stuff you like. Then, like,
yeah,
leave them alone.
Yeah. So
Well,
what you're saying is that Nickelback is the best band ever.
Best ever. No, look, you know what? Honestly, if I had a bank account like Nickelback's, I'd be happy.
Yeah, right.
That's another thing.
Props.
People don't talk about that, but it's like, dude, they sell out.
Yeah,
they
because-
still sell out.
because their
Yeah.
music resonates with an audience.
Yeah.
and that's great. Great for them.
Yeah.
I'd go
Like,
to a
whether you
Nickelback
like
show.
it or hate it, or fall somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Like
When we
their
went-
music resonates with an audience, and they're serving that audience. Like,
Yeah.
go serve your audience.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is if you're going to sit around and just be a critic, like have the
Yes.
courage to create something yourself and put it out in the world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
instead of just running your mouth on everybody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is, speaking to why people run their mouth, is we are in an isolationist
Yes.
world that
Yes.
it's become like we are just so comfortable. Well,
It's human
We're
nature
okay
to find.
with-
It's human nature to find common ground and
Yeah.
then hate everybody else that's
but
outside
then
of that.
but then
common
also
ground.
when you're
That's just human
sitting
nature.
home and bored and comfortable, scratching an itch of expression or seeking attention,
Yeah.
or just you hate yourself, so you're going to hate on someone else, happens so easily. You're just going in and
That got
trolling,
real deep, real fast.
and it just becomes this insane mounting of like all these trolls, like Nickelback sucks, or
I think-
in this case,
Yeah, I think
Think
focusing
of-
on what, instead of uniting around what you hate, if you can unite around the positive and the good things in life, that's going to be a much
Yes.
better
100%.
outlook for your life in general.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
100%.
there's things in the world that are worthy of hate, but music isn't one of them.
it's just
Right?
so easy.
That-
Like
It's
human
so
trafficking,
easy.
I want
hate that. You know what I mean?
That I want to just hear that again.
Uh,
There's plenty things around the world. What did you say? I want to hear that.
There's plenty of things worthy of hate in the world, and art and music is not one of them.
And that is something that, like, we talk about this so much, where it's like, if you like it, then who cares? If you have an audience, and Dave Grohl is like famously known for saying it, where it's like, if you have an audience, then you deserve to be listened to,
Right.
right? Also, people that like, I just think, and I'm not a huge to be honest, I'm not a huge Sleep Token fan.
Me either.
Like, I'm not like a
I honestly
diehard
can't
fan.
think of anything that I've ever heard
Yeah,
from them. But I am
did-
aware of them.
I
Yeah.
really love one of their songs and like a few of their others.
Yeah,
But other than
but
that, I'm like,
for me, I follow singers. I'm a singer, so I look for singers that I think are interesting. And his name is Vessel One, which I think is annoying, but it's part of his. He has Vessel One and Vessel Two, whatever. But he is a great singer, and as a singer, I listen to him. I'm like, wow, he does stuff that I don't do. He does things that are interesting, and I think it's creative, and I can enjoy it. But like, for me to go in and be like, yo, I don't like this, and then just like cast him off completely, I feel that I would be missing out on what on an experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that we're like, again, it's just easy to be on the I hate train.
Absolutely.
You know, people.
it's easy. It's easy to be the critic.
Yeah, it's been easy. Like these last few years, it's been specifically like towards bands like Imagine Dragons.
yeah.
Which again, they don't need you to like them. They're doing fine. Taylor Swift is another one for sure. Again, not a fan. She seems to be doing very well. like what are you gonna say to that, right? Like, and other artists that we've touched on.
I'm gonna change the subject.
Yeah, it's time.
Speaking of trolls,
Yeah.
what about the White House response to
Woo!
to Trudeau?
Oh, man.
about
Hey,
But
Let's
USA.
get into that.
when
What was the exact
America
response?
as the underdog
Let's
comes
go.
in, and this is an interesting fact. So it was George Washington's birthday.
Yeah.
The day it's the 22nd, the day that America beat Canada in the hockey game.
Yep.
And it was also February 22nd, George Washington's birthday,
Yeah.
when America beat Canada in 1980.
Yeah. And that was the last time we beat them.
the last time we beat them
Yeah.
in hockey in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Dude.
So
Well,
it's satisfying,
also-
especially the way that they did it. I mean, I don't know if y'all. I didn't get a chance to
I
watch
saw
it,
the
but
highlights.
I saw some
So cool.
recap. You know how it started though.
Yeah.
It started, for all those you don't know, it started with the national anthems of both teams being played, and when the USA anthem is being played,
Yep.
Canada was booing.
Yep.
And they say
And
they're
so-
nice. They say they're nice people.
said-
They're not.
So-
They're super passive aggressive.
So-
I work with a lot of Canadians.
Oh, for sure.
I can genuinely. I'll say this, dude.
Sorry.
I'll die on this hill. I work with a lot of Canadians, and y'all are passive aggressive, and I'm like, I grew up like Latinos are not. They're like, yo, you suck. Like they tell you.
I
And
think
you
it
guys
has to do with climate. I think
are-
that's the
that's
big
what it
part
is.
of it.
I don't know what it is.
I don't
But
know
here's
what
the
it is.
thing: when
But- so
America
came out, and they started 3 fights.
yes, I
to
love
like
it.
basically like we're defending our national
Yeah.
anthem.
Let's go.
And
Did you see the photo with the chip
Yeah,
tooth?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and
the guy
the
gets
blood.
whacked in the
Oh
face.
my gosh!
In
the
his
refs were
interview,
not calling
You could-
stuff that should
yeah.
have been called.
In his interview, he's bleeding.
I know you could hear like when they
The
won, you could
goalie-
see the Eagles, the bald Eagles, just.
Hey,
the
Just
also-
goalie's performance was legendary.
Also-
I mean,
The women beat Canada as well.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
So cool. So
just-
yeah, and that's
just-
impressive, and that's impressive because
bit of
Canada's women
national pride.
also
It's great.
are just whoever identify as women. So
look, no hate on Canada. Truthfully, like,
I mean, 51st state.
dude, no.
but
fine.
but
I'll say it. I think Canada. You imagine growing up in Canada and like not being American. You're so. They're
I'm not
they
gonna
are
hate.
snow Mexicans.
Snow Mexico.
Snow Mexicans, dude.
I'm not gonna hate on Canada, but it is great to see Team
Not all
USA go out
Canadians
there.
suck.
It's great to see Team USA go out there
Yeah, it
and
is.
perform
Yeah.
and be the underdog and still come out on top. It's really,
Yeah.
it's national pride. It's really fun. That's what
Also-
Olympics are about. You want to see good competition. You want to see
also-
your country win.
And eventually
Wild.
turn Canada into the 51st state.
Yeah. No, we don't need them.
I don't know about that.
I'm kidding.
I don't
I'm
know
kidding.
about
I'm
I'm
good.
kidding.
We already have California.
We'll
which
just
is-
take Greenland. That's fine.
That's fine. Here's the thing. It would be wild if the roles were reversed and the Americans were booing their national anthem.
Sure,
That
yeah.
would have been
Oh
an
my
uproar.
gosh.
And here's the thing.
World news.
Yeah. That would have been a whole thing where it's like bully America and this is coming from an immigrant. So y'all can
I'm not.
You gonna leave it there?
I'm just gonna
Y'all
say
can.
if it was reversed, it would have been unfair.
Yes, for sure.
The kind of media blast.
Oh yeah. Well,
and the way they handled it, they just handled it with a win. We just went in
But
there.
that's, I mean, it's the same thing with like, when a band's doing well and they're
Yep.
successful, they're on top. Everyone loves to hate them. When a country's doing well, you're on top. You're, everyone kind of wants to hate
Yeah,
on you.
It's easy to hate
easy to hate.
LeBron, and here's the thing: I don't even like
LeBron
LeBron,
sucks.
but you can't. And that's the thing. He doesn't suck. He's so good, and that's the
He's
thing.
really good. He's
And
really good. He's a good player.
He's a crazy athlete, freaking nature, really. Did you guys see that Nicki Minaj is like Christian now? She's
yeah,
like
I saw
following
some things about
following
that, yeah.
Jesus
I didn't
and
see
all that.
that.
Yeah, she
I
like
saw that she
you can't mess with the pronouns, dude. We will get
it's
canceled so quick.
2026, bro. That she
They.
was defending or like being a voice for Christians being killed in Africa.
yeah, she's one of the
Yeah.
few people actually in the public
Wild.
sphere talking about like some massive,
Yeah.
just human rights stuff, like people being
crazy.
slaughtered.
Well,
these
she
areas
also
that it's like-
she also did
It's
this.
never a good thing.
She posted this thing and said that like her most meaningful gift is a Bible that Donald Trump, I guess, gave her and like
Wow.
signed or whatever.
Mm.
And then like when she posted about it, of course, the hate.
Yeah, I mean the controversy
sure.
around
is
that,
wild, but
which is
like
crazy. But
I think it's
what it is.
I just think whatever you think of Trump or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's wild that you can't see the fact that like she was just posting like I like this thing that I got.
Yeah.
And I think there's value in this, and that's it. That's all she was
crazy.
saying. She wasn't even making a political stance. He was just like, I think that's interesting that everything has become political.
Everything's
Well,
not just
sports have
political.
become political.
Everything's very
It's
divisive.
so
but,
annoying.
Well, it's also so easy to hate on Christianity.
Yeah.
It's
Or on an ex. I mean, like she's older now. She's like 43 or something, I think.
Yeah.
She just doesn't look it. But anyways, it's easy to hate on someone like that, I think, where it's like, yeah, but you're just some like ratchet kind of girl that like did this kind of music. Yeah. But like I think
there's a lot of people that they go through life. They get. Here's the thing. A lot of times, this is what it seems like I see. You've got a lot of people that they find a lot of success in life. They do some really big, amazing things, and
I mean, she's successful. You can't.
Yeah, she's really successful.
Really
she's
successful.
One of the top in her field, and a lot of people find that, and they do one of two things. Either they find that it's pretty empty.
Yep.
And they head towards unaliving, or they find hope. And most often, like the hope that seems to really last and create this anchor that transforms them into a really positive person that actually can enjoy life is when they find Christ. They find a relationship with God, and it's really cool. It's honestly really beautiful to see the people that are kind of before and after that. There's plenty of people that talk about that. There's what's his name? Alan Richardson.
Yeah.
He's got a very similar story. It's pretty crazy. He spoke publicly about how he's thriving. You know, as an actor, has a super successful career. Things are going really well for him, and he was just the most depressed and empty. Family, has a family, loving family, kids. Things are going well, and he tried to end it on one of the sets.
That's wild.
And he's grateful that he was strong enough physically to get out of the situation he put himself in to end it. And he met God and credits Jesus with saving his life. And he talks really openly about that now because it's a common story. People get to the top. People find a ton of success they've been striving for all their whole life.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they realize that without God and without that relationship, it's empty.
Yeah.
Well, which you don't see when you're still striving for things. You don't see it.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing with Nicki Minaj, going back to that for a second, it kind of in a different reverse way, touches on what we talked about last time. Yeah, is there was this rejection of I brought up in F. Yeah, how he was a Christian artist that went like he's always been honest and just wrote from an honest place, and he went to a dark place and was writing from that, and had the swear words and stuff like that, and youth groups were like, oh no.
Well, pretty sure he had a mental thing go on.
Oh, I
don't know if it was bipolar. Look it up. But I think something had happened with him. He was on meds too, so he wasn't feeling great from what I gathered.
But then what we're calling out is the instead of
the heart.
Instead of reaching out and having a hand to like go, hey, I see that you need help. Let's talk or let's have relationship.
We're rejecting them as a whole.
And then with Nicki Minaj, it's like instead like Christians they see, I got a Bible. This is the best gift I've ever gotten, and then getting hate from Christians.
Yeah, that's
because she has this past.
Yeah. I mean, Kid Rock,
like prejudging.
You saw the same thing with Kid Rock when he did the Turning Point show during the Super Bowl. Yeah. People were like, how is this guy the representative of morality in the U.S. because he's like all of a sudden he says he's found Jesus, And I think that Christian and a lot of Christians, reacting this way, it makes me sad because there's no, Paul talks about this so much that like the first thing he addresses is division so much, and like there's like an immediate like, yo, bye. Like Christian, Christian counseling is a real thing.
Here's the thing: is with the case of like Kid Rock, he wasn't propping himself up as some sort of moral standard.
Yeah, that's true.
But rather, he's saying, Christ changed my life. Yeah, and it's not through my morality, but rather through the perfection of His sacrifice on my behalf that I have any hope of living a positive and hopeful life.
It's a redemptive art.
It's not about us being perfect or. Right. Though we want to strive towards being like Christ as much as we can be, understanding that it's not our salvation and being a Christian isn't about that. It's about the fact that we are receiving the free gift of God on our behalf that allows us to enter into a relationship with him in spite of our imperfections and our faults and our flaws.
And that's the thing is like we don't keep that in our minds, in the forefront of our minds as Christians. A lot of times when we see someone that's been
a
living
certain
away,
way,
like, oh my gosh, it's not very Christian of you, and then they say, oh well,
it's not,
which,
honestly,
by the way,
any of us
I mean,
are
we
honest,
should be
it's not very
bringing them
Christian
in
of
and,
any
like,
of us.
which,
and
by
have
the
a
way,
relationship.
if you just read the Bible and you read what Paul's job was before he did what he did later with Jesus,
Right.
and Christ and the gospel. Read what he did before. And imagine today, in today's day and age, if you had someone who literally murdered Christians.
I mean, the church had a hard time trusting him.
I know. And
it was I mean, justifiably, they were like,
exactly.
Are you for real?
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, we're quicker to disqualify now, I think. And I think it's because Christianity has become a culture on top of the belief system. And
in some cases, emphasis on the cult.
Well, I mean, and I think that's
ways.
that's important. I think a healthy Christian culture is a good thing.
Yes,
agree.
healthy Christian culture.
But I do think that you got to be careful to be walking in grace.
Yeah, for sure, exactly.
Towards other people and allow God to be all of our judge.
Absolutely.
And let that fall into His hands, and recognize that nobody is the moral standard. Jesus is the moral standard.
Jesus is the moral
and
standard.
we're all trying to do the best we can.
Yeah.
To live up to that and to pursue after that, knowing that we're also all human and we all make mistakes and we all have faults and flaws.
And just because you're a Christian influencer, a pastor, someone on stage, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have an episode in your life where darkness will come.
Yeah.
What are you going to do during that time? And what is your community going to do? Are you in community enough where your community can see that and come alongside you, notice that something's wrong?
Yeah.
Kind of like what you're saying, where it's like, hey, something's off.
And it doesn't justify. But again, I think it goes back even to what I was talking about before with, people that were serving with you, is having that love for one another that says, hey, are you doing okay? Hey, I know some things are a little different, a little off, a little like, let me come alongside you and help you for your sake, because I love you, because I care about you above, whatever image, whatever standard that I think you should be.
I mean, unfortunately, it is a thing where churches can, and I want to speak from the perspective of maybe someone on the outside that maybe has had negative experiences, and I want us to address it a little bit. No, which by the way,
what?
One of my favorite
negative experiences.
One of my favorite pastors of all time, Matt Chandler. He's up in Dallas. He says, just a reminder, the church didn't hurt you, people did, and there is a difference with that and what that means. But the overall church and what it stands for spiritually is different. So when you say church hurt, what you really mean is people hurt. And let's address those individual cases, because people go through things.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
there's a lot of things, and justifiably so, where there's like the whole church hurt thing. And in Austin currently, I'm aware of this because I'm plugged into a few ministries, and I want to hear what you guys think. There's a lot of churches here. And being a Christian is trendy right now because of a lifestyle. It's healthy. You're sober, you work out. The Christian run clubs, the conservative movement is predominant currently. But there is a buffet of churches. And I've seen that many people literally go to 3 churches a week. They don't actually plug in or put in, what I'm saying? They go this young adults group, this Bible study, this thing on Sunday. And they don't choose, because there's a lot of churches.
I have an interesting perspective on this.
I'd like to hear what you guys think of that.
I think there's an importance to sticking to a community where you can just dig in and have real relationship with people and be open and honest and bear with someone about something you're going through, instead of just staying on the outskirts. Now, at the same time, though, the church was never intended to be divided and separated like this. Just because there are little differences in viewpoints, all of a sudden we are if you go to Presbyterian and then you go to non-denominational and then step into the Catholic Church, you're they are very different. And they're never going to. Well, I won't say never, but they are so divided
Sure.
and so against each other. And I think
Sometimes more, sometimes less.
yeah, but I think that there's a importance to unifying over a common belief, which is
And I think that's
that-
becoming more and more common
yeah.
than it was a
But,
decade ago, and even.
But in that,
yeah.
to say like, I think if there's a mass group of people that are doing this thing, where they're going to several churches and kind of all doing it together.
No, they're
I think.
not.
Well, I'm saying if that were the case, that would be amazing, because then we are all inter-community. Like it's this massive community
It's
instead
just-
of.
It seems
these-
like an ecclesiastical buffet where you're
Yeah.
literally like getting, oh, this is because this is how I've seen it. Because one of the ministries I'm in right now, one of the problems that they're having with the group is that guys will go to this church for this worship and then this church for this teaching and then over here, but they're not really serving anywhere.
Yeah,
they're not
it's
giving
like
anywhere. And so that's kind of the
So-
attitude behind
So
it.
yeah, I think the church.
it's a self-seeking attitude.
Okay. I think the purpose of the church is for the edification
Yes.
of the believers, right?
Define edification for those that don't know.
The
The
building,
building
up.
up, the
building up.
the strengthening of
Christianese.
the strengthening of your it's true, but I mean,
Yes.
it's not just Christian, it's
Yeah.
in the Bible. It
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
but
For
it
sure.
is it's building up, it's strengthening your understanding of faith and your relationship with God in a community,
Yes,
essentially. That's very rough, but that'll get the point across. So, yeah, I think it's really important to, in your relationship with God, find the one place that you are
Yes.
to engage and plug in, so that way you can be mobilized to impact the community.
Yes. And be pastored, which
And-
is another thing.
Yeah, and being pastor, which that's submitting to authority
Yes.
is important. And this is what I always challenge people with. I said, people that have a problem with authority and the problem with pastors
Yeah.
and the problems with this and that, like, get it. Yeah, nobody's perfect. Nobody's
Yeah.
perfect. Okay. But until you are challenged to the degree that David was
Yep.
to submit to the authorities, David submitted to the authority of Saul
Yeah.
above him, in spite of the fact that king sought to kill him. And David
Yeah.
still submitted
One of my
in the midst of that.
One of my favorite stories is
the
in the
greatest
cave.
challenge to submission.
The cave story.
Absolutely.
Where he literally Saul was sleeping.
He has an opportunity to kill him.
and he has the opportunity to kill him. And instead of killing him, he cuts off a piece of his robe,
threatens him.
He-
He says, "I was here and I could have."
and he does it in such a like submissive way where he recognizes, you're the king.
But he feels guilty about it.
Yeah,
he actually
he
really
does.
wrestles with the
Because
fact that
there's
he
a
even
little
did
threat
that.
in
He-
there.
there's so much meaning there
That's why.
because
Yeah.
the robe of the kings in that time would get longer with the more
Well, the more
kingdoms.
wins.
Yeah,
It wasn't just threat; it was
So-
also a little
Yep.
disrespect.
Right.
It was
It's
cutting off a part of
interesting.
his
It's
robe
so
and saying,
interesting.
"I could have had you."
it's
So
very
it's just-
interesting.
little
yeah, you could dig into the richness of it.
That's
But
why-
just the fact just the fact that David was at such a place that he believed in God-given authority.
Yeah.
And the chain of
Yeah.
authority that God established,
Yeah.
and submitting properly to
Yep.
that authority that's above you, and honoring, even in the midst of the fact
Yeah.
that Saul was not worthy of David's
Nope.
honor. He was not worthy of David's submission, and God had even promised the kingdom to David, and
Yeah.
yet David said, "Not by my hand." It
Yep.
would have to be according to God's authority that
Yes.
God causes it to occur.
And that's the thing. I think people miss that when it comes to accountability and being pastored. I'm someone that's very disagreeable. I'm A-type. I make my own
Yeah.
rules. I prefer to, but there's nothing that's been better for me than being under authority
100%.
and having parameters. And Bonhoeffer, one of my favorite things he says, just OG theologian,
Bonhoeffer's great.
that freedom within boundaries is true freedom. Freedom outside of boundaries is a prison. It is one of my favorite things. But anyways, we got into the weeds of some theology. I want to end it. We're gonna end.
Theology's
we could
great.
have gone for another
Love
hour
theology.
on
I
this
know.
one.
I want to end it with like actually kind of a fun question, maybe with you
All
guys.
right.
I want to
Okay.
know.
Fun.
And I think it's because I've never actually asked you guys this question, and as a friend, I want to know. So I don't even care if it's.
boy.
I don't even
On the
care.
I'm
record.
so curious.
I don't even care. I don't even care if it's good content. I just want to know, and it's kind of a high school question, I think.
Oh boy.
But it's like if you could be aside from this band, if you could be the guitar player for any band
Oh, gosh.
or artist or bass player and me singer in any kind of lineup, dead or alive in any time or era, which one would it be and why? I just would like to know.
This is hard.
I know because we listen to a
very
lot of music.
difficult.
We got a lot of people like.
I honestly don't really know. Because here's the problem: is I don't think I would do a better job.
And here's the thing.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think I would be I think it would be fun to be a part.
Disregard that.
Yeah.
Disregard.
I think it would be a
skill level.
disservice.
Just
No, it's not even a skill level thing. It's,
I'm just saying.
it's the chemistry and the fit.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
say you have the chemistry.
this is
and
how you
fit.
know he's
Let's say
such a
you are that person.
intellectual guitar player.
Who would you want to be?
Yeah, like what band would you want to be in? Like genuinely,
Not as you, as
not
that
as you,
guitar
as
player.
yeah, like.
Yeah.
Or if this scenario is better, how about this? You're at a concert and their guitar player can't make it, so you have to step in. Which band would you?
Okay, that's
you know
a
what I'm
great
saying?
question. That's a great question.
So
I
you're
like that.
you're at the concert of whatever band you choose, and their guitar player can't make it, so you can step
You
in.
get to
Which
step
one,
in and
which
you
one would
do.
you like to step
Yeah.
in for a show? Yeah.
Honestly, you know who I'd have? This is gonna sound kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I would have so much fun playing. I think with Coldplay
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
because it's not.
I would
Here's
have
the thing:
never
is
guessed Coldplay for
It's
you.
not
stuff-
hard.
it's not super complicated, but I think that's good art though. I don't think good art needs to be complicated.
Okay.
Because it emotionally resonates with people. It'd be
Sure.
fun to be on a stage with like that many
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
and still be able to like
Well, you love the music too.
play and
You
the,
actually
the
like-
space to be able to move around. And a lot of the music's really, I mean, I'm not as big into the more recent stuff, but really I think they had a pretty phenomenal, like about 4 or 5 record
Oh yeah.
run.
Yeah.
Um,
Everything was a
where,
banger.
yeah, where
It was
everything
so
it's
good.
just so, it resonates so
So
well.
you would step into, like, let's say you're like, that's the band you would step
I
in.
just
and
think it'd be
like,
so much fun.
Yeah, I get that.
And there's other bands that I mean, I love Muse.
Sure.
I love
Step in for Matt Bellamy. That's so cool.
how though.
So cool.
But yeah, if yeah,
So cool.
but I don't know, just a place where I could kind of just play.
Yeah.
And
Hang out.
nothing too complicated, and just hang out, have a
Yeah.
chance to
Coldplay.
have it. Just feel it to me. That feels like fun.
Yeah.
It feels
Then
like a
that's
very
how-
fun.
If this isn't
experience.
fun, what's the point?
right?
All right.
What about you?
So this whole time I was sitting on Muse. That's
Really?
what I was going to say.
Fascinating. Yeah.
But I would
could've
have to
guessed
do a
that.
lot of work to prepare.
Yeah, dude. Muse is wild. You're
But
good. You're really good though.
Here's my final answer. Mute Math.
Mute Math. Okay.
Ooh.
They have
That's
so
great.
much fun
Dude,
on
you get
stage.
to play with Darren King, but with the Darren King lineup, like
Darren
as a
Key,
bass player.
yeah, Paul Meany,
Yeah.
good. Also, for the most part, from what I can tell, good
Yeah.
Christian brothers having fun on stage, just expressing, like having moments where you're just like
Yeah.
free expressing and having it be epic
Yeah.
rock moments too.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Plus,
doesn't get better.
As a bass
Mute
player,
Math.
getting to play with Darren King, I mean, you would
Oh,
like this,
done.
the
Right.
creativity
Done.
that you could
Right.
do. Yeah, I
It'd be
think.
over.
I think for me, I mean, it's so obvious. I think for me, which one, and like Micah knows, and I'm pretty sure you can probably guess. I mean, if I could go back to the early 2000s when 30 Seconds to Mars
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
was at their peak, you
Yeah,
know, like
for sure.
Jared Leto.
like from Yesterday, The Kill.
No, they
Yeah.
were killing it. Yeah.
Oh, if I could step
They were
into
really
that
good.
and be like, and I know Jared Leto's gotten a lot of hate lately, and he ruins movies, but like I don't think he does. I think it's just
Ruins
director.
movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's
that's
a
a
great
whole other
artist.
thing.
That's
I
a whole
agree
other.
with you.
We'll come
Directors
back to that.
have ruined Jared Leto
But
movies.
yes, but anyways, I agree. And the editors, anyways, I in that time, his vocal range, his performance style,
absolutely.
being able to be on stage
Impressive.
and just try to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing performer, and just.
Incredible.
And I think that the data speaks for itself. Another kind of Nickelback situation with Jared Leto, I think, in some ways.
I think when
so
people
weird.
find success, there's always people who hate on it. It's
Yeah.
just it's unfortunate part of human nature.
Yeah,
Sometimes more than usual.
but anyways, this was fun.
Yeah.
Always fun.
We'll be back for another episode. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you can come, please,
Yeah.
because this is so much
Be
fun.
awesome.
We get to talk about
I
everything.
hope so.
Maybe we
Yeah,
can
no, we
drag
definitely
Jeremy
will be
in the
able
room.
to.
Yeah. But guys, we just want to reiterate that Jesus loves you. You're not alone, and if you're going through anything that's hard, reach out. I mean, our DMs are open too. If you want to hang out, we're in Austin. We'll chat with you. And reason why we're doing this is so we can communicate the essential message that you belong in God's heart and that you have a purpose. And we'll end it with the cheese, but. Jeremiah, if you could say one liner that would just
a-
like transform
capitals.
someone's life, just like one thing that
Just
they just
tight.
the
One
David
sentence.
Goggins moment where like be
Oh,
the you that
gee.
you can become by
Give it
being the
to
you
us.
that tomorrow you knows that now you can be the you that you now know that you now
That's
tomorrow
confusing.
can be.
Well, I think
like,
you just said it.
like a line. Like what is one just like one liner of wisdom Last time Micah's was really good.
No, it wasn't.
So just one liner. You're so different because he went silly. You won't.
Yeah, no, I can't do the silly thing.
What is one
No,
one liner that we can end this on?
What will change your life the most? Commit time to a relationship with God every day, and that will change your life.
Let's go. Thanks for
Let's
tuning in,
go.
guys. We are LIONFACE, and this is Face the Lion, and we'll see you for the next episode. Ba-da-da-da-da. Gets copyrighted right at the end.